Welcome to Martini Time. What a beautiful day in Blackstone, the center of the world, and of course you too are the center of the world. We're all centers of the world. The world is us. You are the world and the world is you. That's what Krishnamurti always said. And the older I get and the longer I practice this path, the more I see the truth in it. That means that the microcosm and the macrocosm, the inside of the cup and the outside of the cup, you and your little mind and the external world is the same world, except seen from two different points of view, like a coin has a head and a tails. One coin, two sides, two views. So, what happens if you split the coin in two? Now, we always, when you flip the coin, it's like, come on heads, or come on tails. But we know that we're not dividing the coin. We're just picking one side or the other. But we believe the coin is one coin. But you can't see the one coin. You see, you can't. Let me get a coin. All right, so here's a penny. No, so you see, all right, so there's the heads, there's the tails. Okay. Well, in reality, I see my subjective side, that's me and what's important to me. And then there's the objective side, all the its and the facts out there. That's the tails. I'm the head. And I'm constantly flipping the world, see if I can come up with it to match my head. You see, if I can come up with heads, it matches my head and I'm in sync. Yay! You see, the light screen, go. But it comes at 50-50, it'll come up the opposite. Oh no, bad luck, misfortune. But our culture has a basic assumption that we believe. And that is that you can make it heads come up all the time. Because the coin is split, you see. But everything splits into the coin. Death, life. So we keep flipping life. Come up life. Death. Oh no. You see? So we pleasure. Come up pleasure. Flip, flip, flip. Pain. Oh no, it wasn't supposed to be. It's not supposed to be that way. I'm supposed to get pleasure all the time. I'm supposed to get life all the time. I'm supposed to get money all the time, or wealth and not poverty. You see? So our culture creates this split in the one and sells us stuff and sells us beliefs, ideologies, religions, programs, self-help, everything under the idea that with little effort you can make everything come up heads. You can make the coin, I got a little hair on my nose. You can make the coin flip your way, you see, with a little more effort. Well, anyway, so today's been a great day for me. First of all, I had a little, yesterday, we're preparing to drop DirecTV and go carte blanche. But, Hulu and Netflix and Acorn and, just buy what we want individually instead of having to buy the whole package, which is costing me $90 a month. And we don't watch anything. So, and the second thing, I suddenly become very, very tired of cable news. Whether I watch MSNBC, but it's the same as CNN. I don't watch Fox, but it's the same. With Fox just has a little hot sauce on it. A little more dread. Give me some more dread, So anyway, so we've been working towards, and I can feeling the resistance to, it's like giving up cigarettes or giving up martinis. Like, oh my God, this is my last martini. So do I really want to give up martinis? Do I really want to give up DirecTV? But the technology, we just got the new Apple TV, and the quality blows your mind out. It's like super HD. And I remember we tried Hulu a couple of years ago, and it kept dropping off. Well, now it's pretty steady. So the technology is growing and growing, you see. The streaming, online streaming. What's going on? Well, you remember when cables first started, you had a lot of little different cable companies, and then they kept eating each other. The Pac-Man kept eating them up, to get bigger and bigger cable companies. And everybody said, oh, you break up the competition like that, you're going to get raised prices. And sure enough, we got the raised prices. But little did we know that the technology would evolve to create a new competition unthought of before. And that's streaming service. So as the wideband increases and the technology increases, suddenly we're having a bloom, an algae bloom of competition from streaming service. And then, of course, now we're all streaming in our little hand phones, hand computers and everything, and it's all coming up on the same things. You have a little system there, and you can be watching a movie on one device and then walk into the other room and watch it on the other, and all that, you see. So it's all, but the point is, I think, is that technology evolves, and it seems like what we know, the known world, will keep combining until we have just one or two corporations or something, you see. And then the technology will evolve, and suddenly there's a competition coming from a new, unthought of area that breaks it up again. So there's this moving, the fragments coming together until a one, and then the technology changes and the one is broken up. And then they will begin to combine, and then that too will break up with a new technology. And so that seems to be the evolutionary movement there. But I guess getting back to my main idea, the topic of this talk was give up the habit. So, and I think today, with the shooting in Las Vegas, and it's been interesting that this past month we've had the hurricane in Texas dominated the news, and then suddenly there's a hurricane in Miami, and Texas was forgotten, and now it's all Miami, and then Puerto Rico hurricane, and then that was dominating the Puerto Rico, and now we got the fight between Puerto Rico and Trump, and that's dominating, one fight after. It's like a boxing match, so the fights, and then now we have a mass shooter in Las Vegas. So the TV cameras are going zoop onto that. And now, where did Puerto Rico go? And where did Miami go? And where did Harvey go? Where did he go? Goodbye. So now it's a mass shooter. Here we go again, And this is such a tragedy. And it's such a... it creates dread, and it creates confusion, and it creates despair, and it creates a sense of hopelessness because you can't find the cause. So the cause, when it can't found, is always going to be on the other side of your assumptions. Now, I spent yesterday and today trying to get into my online bank account. I got locked out. And everything I tried, couldn't get back in. Called up the bank. They couldn't help me. I'd get up. It get through the password, but then it wanted is that you? Then it wanted an access, and I put in to get an access number. Wouldn't go. So I've been going this for all day today, messing with this. And so finally at 4:30, just a while ago, the bank clerk called and said, "Did you click that little box at the bottom that said this was for a private computer?" And I said, "No." She said, "Well, try that." And I went through the process again, clicked it. Ta-da! I'm verified. So where is the cause for my confusion? It was just on the other side of my assumptions. So whenever we can't find the cause to something and are searching for it, just tapes loops around and around, like when you're looking for the keys to the car in the same place over and over, hoping that maybe it will magically appear this time. You're just tape looping, you see. When you can't find the cause, it's always going to be on the other side of the assumptions. There is a cause, but we can't see it because it's on the other side of our assumptions. and we don't question our assumptions. So these mass shooters are really making us question the assumptions of our American culture. They're making us question the assumptions of our American society. And the assumption is that we're a peaceful society. The truth is that we're a violent society. And the violence, while the big eruptions are, of course, the mass shooters and all of that, but these eruptions start down on, well, it starts on Facebook. The violent opinion wars, the violence in our families, the violence in our neighborhoods, you see. But it's at that level, it's like it's normal. At that level, we don't even notice it. Well, of course my neighbor's a son of a bitch, and I'll go throw some dog poop in his yard or something, whatever. I'm righteous, So this judgmental, this righteousness, this certainty, the righteousness of my beliefs, the righteousness of my beliefs, you see. And of course, as soon as you have a righteous belief, you're going to create an opposite belief, because it's the opposite belief that defines your belief. If there were no opposites, think about this. If there were no opposite beliefs to your belief, you would not have a belief. The only reason we have a belief is because it has competition. It has an opposite that bumps up against it. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel it. So we don't have a problem with air. I don't believe there's air. I mean, I know there's air, but I don't have a belief about it because there's no competition. There's nobody saying, well, there's no air. Nobody's challenging it, so there's no belief. So as soon as you have a belief, you create the opposite. And what does that mean is that when I create the opposite to I create myself. I create my righteous belief by having an opponent that I have to defeat and argue against. And when that tension can't be resolved, it goes, whoa, 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 I'm going to get a gun and shoot you. That'll solve it. So these mass shooters are just the volcanic tip, the tip of the iceberg to all of this violence that we assume is normal. And so nothing will happen, nothing will change until there is a shift. Species shift. This is well known. I think one example would be some birds. I forgot what kind of birds, but they had changed their behavior. They changed their behavior in England. And when they changed their behavior in England over a change in the environment, the same species in France and Europe changed. There was no causal link. There was no bird flying over there to France and saying, hey, fellas, we got to change. They just changed over here. No, it all changed together. An organism, take ants. That's such a beautiful example of an organism that's made up of individual parts, but they're all working as one. You lift a rock up, and there's an ant colony under it. It's chaos. It's all blowing all over the place. And then in a few minutes, they reorganize, and they're off to a new colony. And they grab their food and their babies and whatever, and they're gone. Don't know where they went, but they all went together. They didn't have any telegraphs or anything. So all organisms work as a totality, you see, and the human species is an organism. And societies are an organism, and that's why they work as a totality when threatened, you see. So what's going to happen with us is that there's some fundamental assumptions about our society that we're not investigating, we're not looking at, and so nothing will change really until we get tired of it. That's basically how change, exhaustion. Civil wars usually end by exhaustion. You're just tired. You're just worn out of the frustration of not being able to heal the wound or become the one, you see. When each side tries to become the one and heal the wound by getting rid of the other one. It just recalculates or reboots in a new form, and the can gets kicked down the road. And so our media, and that's why I'm really looking forward to disconnecting from it, because I've always had MSNBC or CNN on in the office, maybe with the sound off, sound on, but now, it's always in the back of your head, and you look up and what's the breaking news today? Of course, now everything is breaking. Now they need to put breaking news. Breaking news doesn't mean anything. Everything's breaking news. Breaking news. Oh, wow, that's big now. So so cable news, after 9/11, became the messenger of impending doom. The big one's coming. Osama's going to blow something big up now. Got to get all these red and green lights up there, and caution. There's a little bomb went off in London, and everybody here runs for cover, gets in a bomb shelter. This floating anxiety and terror, you see. It's the big one. If you're religious, it's the rapture. Jesus will come and fix it. Can't wait. Or in the Civil War in the 50s, it was the atomic bomb. Bring it on. And now we got Korea. Bring it on. Not going to mess with me. Bring it on. So this whole delivery system of dread, anxiety, fear, and frustration and hopelessness because we're so tired of it. So it's basically, we're plugged into it. So I'm going to unplug from it, you see. And here's the other thing, too. It's not like you don't get your news. But I'll go on the internet and I check into a couple of news sites and I get the news. And it's a lot like it used to be before TV, when the news came in a newspaper. You look at the news, you read it, and you get the facts, and you come to some conclusion. You have some silence there. You have some time for reflection. It's not hot. It's cool. But TV cable news is hot. It's video. It's, oh my God, and you're right there. And it's all in your face with feelings. Oh, the terror. Just watch the apocalypse now. And Colonel Kurtz, when he says horror, the horror. You have to make friends with horror. And when he died, he said the horror. And so we're not making friends with horror. These mass shootings create horror. We're not making friends with it. In other words, we're running. Oh my God, it shouldn't be happening. How do we stop it? We got to stop it. Who's at fault? ISIS is at fault. Obama did it. Hillary's at fault. It's the immigrants. It's Trump's fault. It's, somebody's at fault. The communists, the liberals, the conservatives. Somebody's at fault. See, nobody's at fault. And this one at Las Vegas reminds me of the Nuremberg trials. They got these Nazis there that killed millions of people. And they were just your everyday, very mundane people, like your guy at the grocery store, plays with the kids, goes to Sunday school, has a pet. This horror in average clothes. So this guy is the most average, this Las Vegas shooter, is the most average one we've encountered so far, I think. I don't know, they're going to do a lot of research to find out what his cause was, but retired guy, gambles a little at Las Vegas, has a house, airplane license, nice guy, very calm, a sleeping volcano, looks like just all the other mountains. And then suddenly, boom, he snaps, gets some guns, and machine guns a whole crowd of people. See, what's the cause of that? You see. So I've been looking at this today and talking and looking at inside myself and looking about it and, asking questions. And that's where we have to go. It's all about inside here. It's all about in our own mind, in our everyday mind. If you can't find it in your everyday mind, you can't find it. Because our everyday mind is a reflection of our culture. Our everyday mind is the microcosm of the macrocosm. Our everyday mind in life is the inside of the cup, and the culture is the outside of the cup. They go together like that. So you can't just find it out there, because we are that. And that is us, you see. So we have to look inside. We have to see, where can I disconnect? Where am I feeding this thing? Where am I feeding this culture? Where am I feeding this anger, this violent field? Where am I feeding this electromagnetic field of violence that creates these eruptions? How am I contributing to it? That should be the question. Because we're all contributing to it, or it wouldn't be here. We created it, but we're creating it unconsciously. We don't realize we're the creator of the world that we live in. You are the world and the world is you. That means you're creating the world you live in. We are each creating America. We are each creating the mass shooters. We are responsible. And yet at the same time, we're innocents. You individually didn't do it, you see, but we're unconsciously feeding into it in our little acts, our little assumptions, our little uninvestigated questions, you see. So we are guilty. We're innocent/guilty. But as long as we blame somebody else, look for the cause, we're not going to get past this roller coaster ride. So anyway, thanks for dropping in, and I'll see you in the morning.